Welcome to the Drop the Needle podcast, your backstage pass to the mystical realm. I'm your host, Jim Allstott, and here, gifted souls step up to the mic sharing their spiritual journey. We're hitting the high notes and the low notes of their awakening, creating a symphony of enlightenment. This isn't just another interview show. This is where divine insights are channeled and universal truths are revealed. So crank up your stereo and sit back, because who knows, this just might help you compose the next transformative chapter of your soul's purpose. Are you ready? Let's go. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Drop the Needle podcast. I'm your host, Jim Allstott, and I'm so happy you all decided to join us. Have you ever traveled somewhere that you've never been before and it seems eerily familiar to you? How about this? Are you someone who keeps repeating the same life mistakes over and over again? Like getting into relationships where the other person ends up behaving like the person you just ended the relationship with? Well, maybe it's because your soul hasn't picked up the lesson from a past life. Today's guest just might be able to shed some light on that for us. We have the distinct pleasure of having Ms. Kristine Ovsepian as our guest. Kristine is a certified clinical hypnotherapist, holds a master's degree in psychology. She's an intuitive healer and a best-selling author, penning both Living Through Choice and Wisdom Unbounded. But there's still more. She's certified in past life regression therapy, NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, and about 14 other specialties. Without further ado, welcome, Kristine.
Thank you for having me, Jim.
Well, thanks for being our guest today. I'm very excited about it, especially after, as a lot of people know, I do pre-show phone calls, and our phone call was outstanding. So I really am excited about this for everyone. So today, what we're going to do, we're going to delve into the area of past life regression and specifically soul retrieval work. And with that is inner child work. It's kind of sprinkled in there as well. But I'm curious, can you tell everyone, tell everyone a little bit about yourself, and then let's have you describe what we're talking about when it relates to past life regression.
Of course. And of course, I cannot start this journey of talking about myself without talking about how I even got to this place. Because the first question I always get asked from everybody is, how did you decide to do hypnotherapy? You did accounting for 10 years. And I said, it wasn't until I was in such an awful place, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. My health was deteriorating very rapidly, that even then, I didn't understand what it was. I know now that it was psychosomatic symptoms, that my emotional state was literally getting my body physically sick. And so many people experience this and don't even realize, and that too can truly be linked to past lives as well. And it's such a big topic, past life regression, and not everybody believes in it. Not everybody's open to it, because a lot of times I would, get clients that go, "Oh my God, that scares me." And I gently would just even ask clients, like, "Do you believe in past lives?" And I hear more and more, like 16 years ago when I first started, and I would ask clients, they would be like, "I don't know, what is that? That kind of scares me." But as time has gone on, our consciousness has definitely shifted, and there's more and more people now that realize there's more to us than just this physical world of what we know, being human in the human physical form. So my truly journey started that way, as well, as I got so sick and tired emotionally, mentally. I was just so drained, and my body was truly falling apart. I was at my doctor's office every week with a different symptom.
Oh, no.
And it got really bad that I truly, at a young age of 30, I was thinking, if I have to do this job for the next 30 years, I'd rather not be here. And that truly
Mm.
scared me as well, because
Sure.
I was, not that I was, suicidal or anything, but I was just like, if this is life, I don't want to be a part of it. Like, there has to be something more than this, right? So then, of course, to keep my story short, as I try to keep it short, but there's so many messages in there that are so important, of me driving to work, crying in the car, and literally just praying
Mm.
to God, God, please save me from whatever this is, because I don't want to drop off my children at 6:30 in the morning at a daycare and pick them up at, like,
Right.
6, 7 o'clock at night. That I want to be in my children's lives. So I want to, but my really, without realizing what I was doing, I was truly manifesting, because I was asking for four things. I want to do what I love. I want to be of service to people. I want to be free to choose my own time, what I do, how I do, and when I do it. And I want to be abundant doing it. So I didn't realize that, but none of those four layers said you're not doing accounting anymore and you're doing hypnotherapy. And at that time, when the market crashed and the layoffs started happening, I was one of those people, and I just knew it was like, while it was so difficult to lose, the one thing that I knew for so long, I also knew I never wanted to go back to it. So having said that, I was just like on this mission of prayer and surrender to God, and prayer and surrender to God. And at that time, I was still studying for the CPA exam. But one night I went to sleep, and it was just another night. And I had this profound dream. I was wearing a white coat, I had a golden badge with my name on it. And I looked from my feet up, which is really the process that we do with passive regression,
Hmm.
whether we're going into past lives or channeling future lifetimes or the future in this lifetime. I literally processed that without even knowing that was a thing, right? That was a process. So I looked at myself and I said, oh my God, I know who I am. I remember who I am, actually. That was the
Hmm.
message. And I woke up that morning and I took my computer, and being born and raised in a Christian household, like hypnotherapy, hypnosis,
Right.
therapy,
Right.
all of
Right.
it was taboo. So I just took my computer and I typed in hypnotherapy. And of course, the one school that is HMI and was literally like within 10 miles from my home, that's been around. It's the one accredited school in the nation that has been around for, I think, now over 50 some years, because it was like 40 some years when I was there.
Holy cow.
Um, yeah. And I literally, at that point, I was in such surrender that there was nothing else that I would rather do than to catapult myself into something that I'm being guided to. So that's why for me it was like, of course, if I'm praying and I'm getting guidance, I better follow that guidance and not dismiss it. So I didn't
Sure.
dismiss it. And so I went and I saw a therapist, and we did 2 or 3 sessions together. And suddenly it was like my world was crystal clear. And I signed up for the school. I became a believer. I was like, if I could change that quickly, oh my God, this is it. And from the moment I entered, the school, and I started my master's in psychology, because I wanted to connect both science, and not that there's no science behind hypnotherapy. There's
Right.
definitely science behind it, because it's the mind works the way the mind works, whether it's
Hmm.
hypnosis or psychology, it's the same, the mind works the same way. And so I started both programs at the same time.
Oh,
And
wow.
I
That's
still
aggressive.
remember, because my kids, I know, because I was on such a mission. I now even think it was a blur for me. But one thing I do remember is that my classmates and my teachers were truly making fun of me, because I would spend as many minutes and hours of the day that I possibly could in hypnotherapy school, because I would walked in there and I was like, oh my God, I'm home. I'm finally home. I'm finally recognizing who I am and why my mind works so differently. Because for
Hmm.
me, from a childhood, metaphysics, my aunts are very intuitive, and it's always the lineage comes from the mother's side.
Yes.
And my aunts were so intuitive. They would literally hold a coffee cup, and they would literally just tell the person's past, present, and future. And I was fascinated with that, always, always. And I knew myself as a kid. There were many things that didn't make sense to me, whether it was about religion or whatever else. And I felt lost, but found at the same time. Like deep inside, I just knew there was only love, and love is the only truth that there is, but the world around me was showing me a completely different story, right? Fears and worries and
Sure.
limitations and doubts and all that stuff. So when I walked into that hypnotherapy school, and it was like, oh my God, I'm home. And
That's so
that's what
cool.
it felt like until, funny enough, a year later when we were graduating, I was given that golden badge with my name on it. So it's
Oh,
like
really?
in that dream, yes. And I still have the badge,
Oh,
although I don't wear it because my clients don't need me to wear that
sure.
badge with my name on it. But
Right.
that was given to me, and I was like, oh my God, I saw this badge a year ago in my dream, which is why I'm
That's so
also
cool.
such a believer of our dreams truly giving us messages, giving us guidance. And we work through a lot of deep stuff in our dreams. Even when my clients have resistance in
Hmm.
sessions, I give them a specific exercise that helps them to release that resistance as they sleep through their dreams. So
Mm.
it's just a beautiful, beautiful journey. That's why the moment I start talking, I can't, as for my conversation too, I can't stop talking because it changed my life. So how
Sure.
can I not share this wisdom, this information, this guidance, these tools to change others' lives? It
Well,
would
it's
be
no
a
wonder you're
crime not
excited.
to. I know.
Well,
Thank you.
it's had such a profound impact on your life. So
Hmm.
I completely understand as to why
Yeah.
you get so energized when you talk about it.
Hmm.
So there are a couple of things here, and you started to say, or you were telling us about how you got into it, sort of. But I'm was it due to a hypnotherapy session that you had that you were like, oh yeah, this is for me? That was it. Is by
So I found the
experiencing it?
school first, and then I hired a graduate from the school because I was like, who else would know best? I mean, if I'm looking into the school, then I want to work with somebody that went to the school. And within 3 sessions, I really felt like a light bulb went off in my head. And funny enough that we're talking about past life regression today because being from Christian born and raised, passive regression was an additional certification program at our school, and I remember
Ooh,
my soul was pulling me into it, but my head was like, nope, you're Christian, that stuff doesn't
that's
exist,
right.
one
That's
life
right.
only.
Yeah,
And
better
I
live it.
literally had to go and research and did research, and I found out Christ spoke of reincarnation. And it wasn't until, if I'm not mistaken, 325 AD or something, that it was taken out of the conversation. So it's
Oh,
just like, all
yeah,
right, I'm good to go now. And I went and
yeah.
I signed up, and it was one of the best things that I ever did because so much healing happens through past life regression that it's so transformative. And my clients have had, sessions with me, one past life regression that healed severe back pain that
Oh,
was
wow.
unexplained by the Western world, and severe headaches, because we don't realize that certain things we bring from there's even a lot of research and now done and proven that birthmarks, and
Yes,
and yeah,
yes.
certain things we carry, moles we carry
Yep.
from our past lives to the present lifetime because there's a wound there that needs to be addressed, but people don't really pay attention to it that way. They just think that, oh, it's just a
It's just a
birthmark,
birthmark,
but
right?
it's
Or a
a
mole
there's
or a mark.
definitely,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. So we carry those from past lives. And those clients of mine whose, headache went away and backache went away,
Hmm.
it was because they were injured in a past life, in a war setting or in a fight setting. And yeah, they were harmed in that specific area of their life. And that's what caused the reoccurrence of that problem in this lifetime until they worked it
Gotcha.
out,
Yeah,
until
and
they addressed that life. Yeah.
I read that exact thing recently about the birthmarks or specific marks on your body that
Hmm.
aren't from scars necessarily, but are
Hmm.
just unexplained. Why is that there?
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
is connected to a past life and typically a wound that causes the death, whether
Hmm.
that be on your
Hmm.
neck or your head. And not to be gross or anything, is sometimes if somebody has a birthmark on their their face. It's where a gunshot or something went in or what have you. But anyway, there was something that I picked up on your website, by the way, that was very intriguing to me. And it's what is it called? Combo?
Yes.
Combo. So
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty interesting to me
It
because I
is.
started to do a little research on it as far as what it's about. So you have a certification in that as well. Can you give everyone a very brief description, because I do want to spend the bulk of our
Yes.
time in past
Oh,
life?
I'm gonna try my best to give a short version of it. Well, combo is used in the tribes as a hunting medicine, because when you apply that medicine on, obviously you open gates, and I know this is the part where people go, "What do you mean you're going to burn my skin off?" But it really is with a tiny little incense. You just basically very quickly tap on the skin where it kind of like bubbles up, that the
Mm-hmm.
just the first layer of your skin, there's no blood in there, nothing, as if you were to scrape your hand, and
Mm-hmm.
that first layer of the skin comes off and you put the medicine on. It's such a powerful, beautiful, because
Tell
it's
everyone what the
peptides.
medicine is.
Yeah, it's peptides. It comes from the jungle tree frog. And I even have, surprisingly, if I could find it here, one of my clients recently gave me a ring. Oh, I can't find it right now. I'm so it's so beautiful. It's like
Get
literally that frog. It's the
out of
jungle tree
here.
frog. And it's
That's
so
cool.
beautiful. And I wear it every time I serve the medicine, but it's a detox medicine, and it's peptides. And our body has peptides, and the peptides kick in, and your blood pressure goes up and your blood pressure goes down, and through the process there might be purging that happens. And sometimes it also depends on how you apply
Like
the medicine,
emotional
the gentle
purging.
way.
Is that what you're
Physical
talking about?
purging as
Oh,
well.
physical. Okay,
Emotional and
really?
physical, yes. It
Wow.
depends also how you apply the medicine on. It could be, if you do it more rapidly closer together, it would be, that would be a physical purge that happens.
Mm.
If you do it more gently and put the, medicine at like 7 minutes apart from each other, because average 5 to 7 minutes, you feel the movement of the energy and the medicine, and it goes into your lymph nodes and it cleanses, and it's cleanses you ancestrally, in a sense, seven
Hmm.
generations back, 7 generations forth. And my clients, although it's not a psychedelic medicine
I
whatsoever,
was
it's
just
perfectly
going to
legal
ask
in the
that.
States. Yes, it's
Okay.
perfectly legal in the States. But my clients oftentimes would feel like, one of my clients, she would literally feel her ancestors present. Like when I was studying that medicine, it was beautiful to feel my grandmother's soul
That's
with
fascinating.
me during that process. So there's a lot of like opening that happens, because you're basically cleaning clutter energetically, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Uh, Basically, what it does is, because it's the hunter's medicine, it clears your mind. You have such crystal clarity. It sharpens your vision, because it is used as a hunting medicine. It positively suppresses your appetite, and even what you eat starts to change. Like if you had cravings of, junk food before, now your body wants to eat more clean. So the
Hmm.
detox happens. So if it doesn't happen physically, that you purge through the mouth, it happens, the other way. So you release a lot
Ah,
of
okay.
toxins from the body. And I've had so many of my clients, like, pain go away. One of my clients reported back, and again, I'm not a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a cure. We always need to say that. But so many of my clients reported back, like, their thyroid balancing, and the doctors being surprised how that happened, because medication wasn't really helping them. So there's a lot of, and this is just my clients reporting back to me what they have
Sure.
experienced after it. So
No,
yeah.
that's awesome. And thank you for sharing that.
Of
It was
course.
as soon as I saw it, I was like, what's that? And then you know, gotta love
Uh-huh.
Google, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I checked
Mm-hmm.
it out and was like, holy
Good.
cow, we need to talk about that a
Mm-hmm.
little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So then let's go ahead and pivot into the past life regression.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do the past life regression, is that initiated through hypnosis then, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can you
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
explain to people what they may feel? Because,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times people will see something that's on a sitcom or something like that, television show, and people are walking
Uh-huh.
around quacking like ducks and
Mm-hmm.
things like that,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
flamenco dancers,
Yeah.
or whatever. But you know, um, but
Yeah.
can you maybe bring us through that a little bit?
Absolutely. Well, speaking of that, I watched my brother do the funniest things when I was 8 years old on stage, hypnotize. So
Oh, really?
yes, the hypnotist. So that's not hypnotherapy. There's no therapy involved. There's no healing involved. That's just for entertainment purposes. But
Hmm.
the hypnotist knows exactly who to choose. They give them suggestions. So the suggestion was, you will cross your fingers, and in about 5 minutes, when I speak back or count you back, you will not be able to open up your fingers. And he went and chose the people that could not open up the fingers. And that's how the hypnotist knows how suggestible those people are. They don't
Hmm.
go and randomly pick their subjects. They know who they're picking because they already gave you the suggestion and they saw how easily hypnotizable you are. So
Okay.
it's just beautiful to watch. So I know sometimes people say, well, I'm not, I get this sometimes with my clients, especially my clients who are very left brain and logical. They're attorneys, they're doctors. They're
Mm,
like, well, Christine, I'm not hypnotizable, but you know what? I'm here. We're having a
let's
great
give
time
it a
talking.
shot.
And I always tell them it's not about me. It's not about my ego. I'm not here to prove anything to you. Let's give it a shot. And that's why I love my skeptical clients, and my clients who don't believe in it much are the most surprised afterwards. And they go, okay, what just happened? How did that happen? Well, what do you mean it's been 30 minutes? Like, what? Was this chair moving? Do you have a motor on this chair? I get the funniest questions
Get
afterward.
out.
Oh, wait, I was seeing colors. I saw vibrations, and I saw this vision, and I saw that vision. And I'm like, and in the
And they can
past,
recall it.
yes,
Oh,
and they can
wow.
recall
Okay.
it. Yes, because hypnosis is such a natural state. We all go through it every single day before we fall asleep, and every morning as we're waking up. That half hour is a sweet space where your mind, while going to sleep, it goes from beta mind, which majority of the people are basically stuck in the beta mind. And the beta
Hmm.
mind is the angry, feel fearful, frustrated, stressed, anxious, all of that. And what hypnosis
Emotional.
does helps us do is, it basically, what it does is brings them from beta is 13 to 40 hertz. It brings your brain activity down. Just like if you're running and then you start relaxing and your heart
Right.
rate goes from rapid to slow. It's basically what is happening in hypnosis is your brain and heart are synchronizing with one another. And this is what people don't understand. When they're stressed, when they're anxious, when they're angry, when they're whatever, depressed, is because their brain is going 100 miles an hour. And what does the heart do? The heart wants to synchronize with the brain. And so both of them going together is what causes the anxiousness, the panics, the
Mm,
breathing, the loss of
right.
control, all of that.
Exactly.
And but nobody explains to people that way, which is why I love podcasts and I love working with my clients, because I always explain what is happening. And the moment they realize, oh, wait a minute, but maybe, just maybe, I have more control over this, instead of letting my brain just to create
Go
havoc and
wild. Right.
chaos. Exactly. How about if I synchronize it with my heart? So that's really what truly hypnosis is bringing that activity down to a calm place of alpha and theta. And in past life regression is really we're tapping into the theta brainwave, because that's where basically all our wisdom is, past, present, and future. We have access to all that information. And the only thing that is necessary is for us to just surrender, let go, and trust in the process. Because the ego
Hmm.
constantly wants to check in. right?
Sure.
Is this
Yeah.
safe? Am I safe? Do I need to pull us out of it? Do I need to do this? Do I need to, because it's the guardian, right?
Say
Or
something
the, yeah,
to break it up.
it's the
Yep.
gatekeeper, exactly. It's the gatekeeper. But anytime my clients are in tears and passive aggression, or laughing, or joyful, or feeling the love, that's not acting. That's very natural. In that moment, those emotions are showing us that that person is actually there, is actually experiencing that. So emotions are a very big part of passive aggression as well.
So when somebody goes into this theta state or hypnotic state, and
Hmm.
let's say that you bring them to a past life and
Hmm.
it was extremely painful,
Hmm.
do
Hmm.
they relive the pain and actually feel it, or are they observers?
So that's when I tell my clients, right in hypnosis, I give them the option. I say you can either experience it in the body, watch it from above and as an observer, or watch it on a screen. And surprisingly, majority of the time, they don't opt out of being in the body. They
Experience it?
want
Yeah.
to,
Okay.
they want to experience
That's
it and
wild.
heal it and process it in the body. And I've seen many situations like that where one of them, my client was had a best friend that they were like inseparable in this lifetime, and she was curious as to why do we have so much love for each other in this lifetime, and they were both females. And as we regressed her and she went back into a lifetime during war where there were two males in that lifetime and they were at war, and at one point she started really being very distressed, and she was like, why is he on top of me? Is he trying to kill me? Are his hands around his neck? And she was so distraught in that she's crying and she's trying to process. And I could, and gratefully, oftentimes what could happen is that I can visually feel and see what my client's
Hmm.
situation is. And I already knew what the situation was. It was not a dangerous situation. Her friend there was not trying to kill her. She was not the enemy in that lifetime. And so I told her, I said, watch it from above, because what I was seeing is not what she was seeing because she was in
Hmm.
the body. What I was seeing was that she was wounded in the neck and she was bleeding because it
Ah,
hit her artery, and
okay.
so her best friend was trying to stop the
Stop the
bleeding.
blood.
And
Yeah.
I mean, in that chaotic, painful situation, you don't go, oh my God, I'm like a doctor. I know exactly what to do. So the moment she witnessed that, she just broke down and started crying. And she was like, oh my God, he's trying to save my life. But while that
Mm.
lifetime was not saved, they came back in this lifetime as two females, and their bond and their love for each other was just so profound and strong. It's like
That's
soulmates.
amazing. That
Yeah,
really is. I wasn't sure
yeah,
where you were going with
yeah.
that. And then, holy cow,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
wow. So
yeah.
that's interesting. A couple of things that I picked up from that. Number one, that you were able to switch the point of view
Hmm.
with your client
Yeah.
right when it was happening. I
Hmm.
think that that is an important
Yeah,
safety net or valve
absolutely.
right
This
there.
is why it's so important not to do it alone, because alone you need to have a guide so that if you get yourself in situations like this, there's a guide to guide you through it,
Right.
and not you getting stuck in that trauma and pulling yourself out of it, without processing.
So people try to do hypnosis
Hmm.
by themselves.
Yes. One of my,
Well, how
yes,
the
I
hell
have a
do you
story
do
for you.
that?
Well, it's hypnosis, and all hypnosis is really self-hypnosis. It's just when you do it with a professional and a guide, you have a 99.9% chance of processing, healing, experiencing the healing, and coming back versus I'm doing it by myself. I don't know what I'm doing. One of my clients, I'll tell you, he called me and he was so terrified. And he said, I need to come and do passive regression with you. And I said, what are your intentions behind it? I always ask my clients, why do you want to
Sure.
do passive regression versus hypnosis? Because when I know what my clients' needs are, then I can truly guide them. Is passive regression what you really need, right?
Hmm.
So then he tells me he's at the airport waiting for his flight that's delayed, and he puts his headphones on and he takes himself through a passive regression recording from YouTube or whatever.
Oh
Well,
wow.
While he was successful, he wasn't so successful. While he went into a past life, there's no one there to guide him. And he went into a lifetime that was not an easy lifetime. And he was terrified and he pulled himself out prematurely. And he was stuck with that energy, that memory,
That
that
trauma.
visual, that feeling, that trauma. And he called me
Wow.
and he said, please save me from this. So he had to come in for us to rewrite what he
Oh
experienced. And
my
he was
goodness.
like, I'll never do that again. I was like,
I
yes, please
bet.
don't.
I bet.
Mhm.
I sure wouldn't do it
Yeah.
either. That after something like
Absolutely.
that. Holy
It's not,
cow.
unless you're a professional that is, I take myself through my past life regressions. I can serve myself combo, right? I can do my own breath work, but when we're not trained to know what to do when we go
Hmm.
into an emotional place, it's not dangerous. I wouldn't say dangerous. It's just, it can create some, disturbance in your energy
Sure.
that it doesn't need to be there. So,
No,
just I would
I get
always tell
that.
my clients, we spend so much money on things that are irrelevant. Why, when it comes to ourselves, and that's a very big part of the healing I do with my clients, is the self-worth and the self-love that we'll spend on everyone and everything else. But when it comes to us, we're like, well, I shouldn't spend that money to go and get the healing. Well, I shouldn't spend that money to go
Hmm.
and do this. And that's what gets us in trouble. If we
Sure.
try to do everything by ourselves. I even say healers need healers. I go to my people to help me, to
Sure. Yeah,
support
and
me, because
you
we're
hear
not
that all the
supposed to do
time.
it all by ourselves. Exactly.
Yeah, you hear that
Yeah.
with therapists have
Yeah. Their
therapists.
own
So
therapists. Absolutely. I have psychologists that come to me,
so
psychiatrists that come to me. Yeah.
the other thing that I got from that story with your two clients that are best friends and soulmates essentially was that you could see what
hmm
was going on.
hmm
What do you mean?
I love that question. I love how you catch these nuggets in between. Well,
Thanks.
when you're, although I don't like titles, when so many of my clients were like, "You're so intuitive. Like, how can you tell?" Because in doing this work in the past 16 years, one wonderful thing has happened for me is year after year, day after day, week after week, month after month, this beautiful center opens more and more and more. And the more that you
Hmm.
trust, the more it opens, where I'm able to, with my clients, like, so much of the time when my clients are in hypnosis, they're in their recliner cover with their eyes wearing their eye mask. I'm sitting right next to them doing sound bath. And because I'm in that close proximity to their energy, my eyes are closed because we don't want any of the distractions of the ego brain that
Hmm.
sees and just kind of goes into analysis of, oh, the picture there or the word there. When client's eyes close, my eyes close, and I go in to that intuitive collective consciousness place where I would give my clients a visual or I would guide my clients a certain way, and then they come out and they're like, that is crazy. I was already there. How did you know?
I was
How
just
did
going
you
to ask
take
if
me
you were
there?
do
Uh-huh.
you lead
Yeah.
them, or is that would if somebody
Well, not
from an
leading, but
outsider?
guiding more so.
Okay,
Yeah. Not
okay.
leading would be more so I'm telling them, but in guiding them, it opens up because I'm just going with my inner visuals, right? I'm taking them through the progressive, and then within that progressive comes messages, other visions, and other guidance, and other clarity. And so much of the time, even in past life regressions, I would feel my clients like spirit loved ones coming through.
Mm.
So there's just so many layers to it. It's so hard to explain. And so many of my clients, they go, well, how did you see? How did you know? Like, I would have clients, loved ones that crossed over, that they would show me a certain piece of, let's say, jewelry, right? And then
Mhm.
this happened very recently with one of my clients. Her mom passed away 3 months ago. And in one of our hypnotherapy sessions, her mom showed me this specific necklace. And I described it to her, and she said, I don't know. I never saw her with any piece like that. And 3 weeks ago, she found that piece when she was going through her mom's stuff.
Oh my
And
gosh.
the same day, her aunt came over and her aunt said, oh my God, you found it. Before your mom crossed over, she said, that piece was given to me by my mother-in-law, and it was meant to be for someone else, for her son's wife or
Mhm.
something. And the mom said, no, this belongs to my daughter. But she never got the chance to give it to her daughter.
Oh,
She
wow.
crossed over, and her spirit showed me that, you know, she needs to wear this necklace. This is meant for her. And it was just beautiful.
I
She
was just
literally
going to say,
sent me
this
the
is
picture
a
and she was like, "Oh my God,
beautiful
when you told
story.
me, I didn't believe it." But then she finds it a month later, and on the same day, her aunt comes over and confirms that her mom said, "I'm not giving this piece to that person. This
Hmm.
belongs to my daughter." So from spirit realm, the mom was trying to tell her, "That's for you." And my client found it, and now she
Wonderful.
wears it, close
Yeah.
to her heart. It was like a Mother Mary pendant. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm sure that that also brings her a lot of comfort and joy
Of
too,
course, of
knowing
course.
that. That
It's
what a
like a
great
piece of her
feeling.
mom's energy
Yeah.
that she, yeah. So a lot of times it's just visions I get, internal visions, messages, and I always say we are all intuitive. We're all born
Hmm.
intuitive. This is
Yes.
not a gift that, oh, I'm gifted. We're all gifted. And then I always remind my clients, the only difference is how much do we trust in our gifts? How
Sure.
much do we trust in ourselves? Because growing up, majority of us are told not to trust ourselves. Don't say that, don't do that. That's
Hmm.
embarrassing. You need to shut up. You need to
That's
be seen
crazy
and not
talk.
heard. And
Yeah. Yep.
exactly. Exactly. So we are raised to not trust ourselves. And so that trust leads to us not trusting our intuition.
Can I tell you something? I was
Hmm.
early on in my journey. I I was under the impression that you. Okay, this is going to make me sound naive, but I'm going to say it. I was under the impression that you almost had to have a near death experience to have all of these gifts open up, because the people that I met with that have these incredible gifts all had that common
Had them.
thread.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they're like, well, I was dead for 2.5 minutes,
Hmm.
and I was like, okay, well, I want that, but I don't want to die to
Yeah.
do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and
Absolutely.
I hear that
And
more and more
hmm
about intuition. You don't
hmm
have to
yeah.
die or nearly die in order for those
Hmm.
gifts to open up, because
Yeah.
we already have them.
Hmm.
And you said
Yes.
remembering
Yes.
before. So, one of my friends had written a book called Remembering Awake that
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
talking about remembering
I
all of
love it.
those gifts. Yeah, it's a fantastic
Yes.
book.
Absolutely.
And speaking of books, your two books, I wanted to maybe touch on those again, the Living Through Choice
Hmm.
and Wisdom Unbounded. Now, I understand that Living Through Choice is book number one, and then there's the follow up, which is Wisdom Unbounded. Why don't
Hmm.
you tell everyone what they may expect to gain from reading your books?
Absolutely. But before I get into that, I want to roll back to what you just said about near-death experience. So I
Hmm.
want to clear this up so people know that no, that is not the only way. Any trauma can trigger for our third eye to open wide.
Mm,
So I don't even want to go into details, but the trauma doesn't even have to be severe, like being shot or being raped or any of that.
mm,
It can be trauma from childhood, right? It can
hmm.
be just anything can trigger for the third eye to open because that part of us is the true essence of who we are: safe, secure, protected, wise, guided, supported, loved. And so that it kind of, any trauma in life leads you to your truth. It kind of kicks you back into your truth. So
Peels it
I
all
wanted
away.
to, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it doesn't need to be near death experience, as I myself went through some couple of them when
Ooh.
being born. Yeah. My heart was beating 1 beat per minute. My mother tells me, and they forced me into this world. I think my soul was like,
Oh.
oh, do I want to do this again?
Right. I don't
But
know.
they forced me, and I was like, okay, I made the contract. Let's go do this again. And
Yeah,
then at
it's
15 years
time.
old, I almost died because my appendix burst and I didn't want to go into surgery.
Oh my goodness.
Hmm At 30
Wow.
some years old, I twice in my sleep, I literally was going towards the light, that
Get
tunnel that
out.
everybody speaks of. And spirit really said, not your time. You still have a lot to do. And I jolted awake. And I remember at that time I was still married, and my husband was like, Are you okay?" And I was like, "I was going into the light and I was stopped." He's like, "Oh, great. Now you want to leave me?"
Yes, I know
Uh-huh.
better now. Yeah, yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
so
goodness.
several times that I tried to exit, and
Wow.
over the years I've done a lot of amazing work with psychedelic medicine, and
Mhm.
I've had a lot of the those moments, and I just, I now understand what it is. It's not a near death so much. It was more so ego, transformation. I don't even like
Sure.
calling it ego death, but parts of
Right.
our personality traits, stories, beliefs dying away, and it
Mhm.
feels like parts of you are dying because they truly are dying, and you kind of like can quickly or take a long time to process letting
Mhm.
go of that version of you. For me now, it's like, let's go.
Yep.
Let's go. Let's
I'm done. Let's
catapult
go. Time
forward,
to
because
move.
I'm not living my life at all in a way of, oh, let's take 5 years to do this. When my clients come to me and they're like, well, I think we're gonna, do this for the next 2 years for me to process the 20 years of trauma. I'm like, says who? Says who?
Right.
What if we could do it in 5 sessions? What if we could do it in 6 sessions? What if we could do it in 10? Who says that it
Wow.
has to take 10 years, right? It's
Right.
what we tell ourselves. And I'm a believer of, come on, let's leap. Let's literally
Well, that's also conventional
timeline.
therapy,
Mm-hmm.
though, too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's
Mm-hmm.
almost designed to have
Yeah,
that
of course.
duration.
Yes,
And
because the
I
more that you
understand, but
dwell on your problems, the longer it takes you
yeah,
and
just
the more
keep
help you would
opening up.
need. And
Yep.
it's
Yeah, it is
kind
a
of like
vicious
keeping you
cycle.
stuck. Yeah. Yeah.
It is, and it's interesting that you said that, which could be another conversation or
Hmm.
podcast, by the way. But um, so let's talk about your
My
books.
books.
Yes, please.
It's
Let's
like we're
talk
reading
about
each
your
other's
books.
minds at this
Yes.
point. Yeah. So, I mean, my books are truly not only my journey, but my clients' journeys, because I do have examples of my clients' transformations within the book. But more so, the first book truly was my own awakening and realization that I do have a choice, because majority of my life I was told you don't have a choice, and I was told by my
Right.
own mother that God wrote this on your forehead and this is how it's going to be and that's how it is. And I just thought, okay, I'm like a victim to my own life and everything is happening to me versus everything is happening for me,
For
and I
you. Yeah.
have control over that. So my first book was truly about that, of going from that fearful place of I'm limited, I don't have control, to that love place of, well, oh, wait a minute, I do have a choice. I do have control over my destiny, over my life. And that's basically the message behind the first book. And then the second book is the, oh, wait, all that wisdom that we seek outside of ourselves is already within us. So why am
Hmm.
I constantly out there searching and seeking and chasing when all I have to do is just be? And remember that I am infinite wisdom, that all of that wisdom, I mean, there's so much studies and research now happening where, we know water has wisdom. We know the ice that has been there for thousands of years on this planet has information within it, and they could take slices and really find information within that ice that becomes water that holds the wisdom of that information from thousands of years ago.
That's
And we're
amazing.
70-80% water. So does that not
Right.
now mean that we are wise being ourselves? Because so much of the time we've been told throughout our lives, oh, we're just human. No, we're spirit in the human experience. We're not
Right.
human having a spiritual experience. And because of that, have we forgotten who we are, what we're about? Yes, we have forgotten because we were forced to forget, right? From
Yes.
systems to religious beliefs to whatever it may be. We've constantly been forced to not, again, trust ourselves. So the second book is really that, and for me it was like even the journey through COVID and us being stuck at home of me truly surviving that time by having the power of my inner world being
Hmm.
childlike, playful, colorful, and I would literally travel in my sleep, in my wake state. While I was, blessed, I was the busiest during COVID because everybody was awakening and going, oh my God, like, what do I do with this? Like, I
Right.
hate my life. I hate my relationship. I hate but what the hell? Because we were stuck
And that
to
reset.
face.
Yeah.
Absolutely, to face what we weren't facing because, oh, I can just go to work and come home. I can tolerate my partner for an
Right.
hour. I can
Distractions.
tolerate my kids for an
Yeah.
hour. I can tolerate. But now it was like, we're stuck together. We're
Right.
either
Right.
going to, destroy each other or we're going to whatever else the choice may be. So that was so busy. But at the same time, when I wasn't busy helping clients and being of service to them, I truly was within myself because being a Gemini, I'm all about playful, childlike. I'm like a hummingbird. I'm like here
Mm.
and there and everywhere. And I love travel, and that wasn't an option. And one
One of
of
my
the
favorite
ways that
animals,
truly,
the hummingbird. I love
and
the
my
hummingbird.
logo is the hummingbird.
Yes. Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that.
Yes. And so to me, and even when I chose it, like 15 plus years ago, I didn't even realize the meaning of it until I realized, oh my God, that's my spirit animal. That's how I am. That's how
Light,
my energy
joy,
runs.
happy.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Happy, playful, like moving around. I
Yep.
I get bored easily if I'm doing the same thing, repetition, which is why I
Yep.
love what I do. And mind you, accounting is repetition. And my world now is all
Oh,
about
that would be
every
soul
client brings a
crushing
different, yes,
being an
layer, a
accountant.
different,
Ugh.
mm-hmm.
No
Mm-hmm.
offense to any accountants out
Yes,
there.
I know. My
Sorry.
best friend is an accountant and she loves it.
Right.
It's not for everybody and it wasn't for me. I'm not a person behind a computer. I'm this. I love this interaction. I love
Yeah, me
connecting. I
too.
love hearing my clients' stories. I love focusing on, okay, I hear your story, but what's beyond this? The focus of my sessions with my clients are never about we're dwelling on what didn't work. My
Hmm.
focus is always I hear the story, what's the solution? I hear the story, how do we shift this? I hear the story, how do we
Hmm.
change this? And my books have that kind of message in there as well. And also one of the reasons why I wrote both my books was because so many people, and I know there's thousands of self-help books out there, but I just felt like I was yet another voice to help people because also many of self-help books are just like, okay, do this exercise and that exercise, and my clients would
Hmm.
come to me and be like, okay, I'm so sick of doing these exercises, nothing has changed. So truly the core of my books are the message of you need to put in the work. Number one,
Right.
you need to give to yourself. Number two, you need to value your healing. Number three, and really, you need to tap into your subconscious to make these changes because you can do all these exercises on a conscious level over and over and over and over and over. And really, nothing will change until you tap into your hard drive because no computers change, information changes if you don't change it from the hard drive. You can delete all the desktop stuff, which is what people are
Hmm.
usually doing. And then the moment that trigger comes, they are triggered again. Their inner child is
Yes.
triggered again. And they spiral into the dark hole. Why?
Yeah.
Because subconsciously that inner child is not healed. Yeah, consciously you're like, okay, I'm good, I'm great, let's manifest all this. But
Yeah.
that's just like
Fake
putting
it till
a
you make
cake
it
on top of
mentality.
trash, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so again, I have so many other questions and comments and thoughts on some of the things you said, but we are
Yeah.
limited on time. So we need to get to the musical questions. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So this is the part of the show when I get a chance to ask the guests some musical questions. And I truly believe that music is the tie that binds. And
Mhm.
each of us has a soundtrack that accompanies our life, if you just take a moment to think about it. So are
Mhm.
you ready?
I am.
Okay. So, what was the first song that you fell in love with from the radio?
From the radio. Well, funny enough, I was not born and raised in this country, so we didn't really listen to radio. It was all
Okay.
tracks or
Phonograph or E-track?
my dad had those, and because I was born and raised in a communist country, so all of that stuff my dad had to bring from Iran, and he was a big fan. And so
Mm.
one of the songs that I've always loved, and the singer I think is Jay Leno. If I'm not Jay Len, oh my goodness,
What's
now
the name
I'm
of the
drawing a
song?
blank. Imagine.
Oh, John Lennon.
John Lennon, thank you. I always
There
go
you go.
Jay Leno. I'm like, no, Jay Leno
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the funny guy.
Yeah, yeah. The Tonight Show. Yeah.
John Lennon, Imagine, because to me, those
Yeah.
lyrics, and the other day, I don't know where I was randomly, that song started playing, and I was like, oh my God, like, this is the message. This is the message. It was true then, and it is true now, of us truly like imagining a world, oh, where there's more peace, where there's more
Right.
freedom, where there's more joy, where humanity understands that everything we're creating, it's first self-destructive if we're creating negativity,
Hmm.
and if we create love, then we spread that love. So do we
Right.
not deserve that love to create it within ourselves so we can create it in the world around us? So
Absolutely. So some of these questions may not be relevant for you, like the road trip, not, or would there be an 8-track or something in the vehicle that you were
oh, we
driving?
would listen to Michael Jackson, we would listen to
Awesome.
yeah, like Bee Gees, like, and we
Okay.
wouldn't even understand the lyrics because we didn't speak English. We weren't studying
Sure. Yeah,
English.
but I think it's about
Uh-huh.
the melody and
Yeah,
the frequency and the
yeah,
beats and everything that
yeah,
you start going. So did you sing
yes.
along with them as
Well,
well?
we tried, but
You
not
tried to?
English
Okay.
words, but whatever
Okay.
we could hear. But
Yeah.
Staying Alive was one of my favorites, and it still is.
For
It
real.
still
That's
is.
awesome.
Uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
love
And
that.
my kids, what I love is my kids who are now 18 and 20. Like, I raised them with genres from all across the board. They love Frank Sinatra as much as they love Bee
Oh,
Gees, and
wow.
yeah, yeah, Bill Withers, and yeah, and
Oh,
the Beatles, and
so you know Bill
and
Withers.
Michael Jackson, of
Oh
course,
my
of course.
gosh.
I love. That's why
Yeah.
even me, like, I can listen to current songs that are very meaningful, and I can go back, and even last night I was driving and I listened to a 70s song, and then I changed back to Bocelli.
Oh,
So,
wow.
there's
Excellent.
I've yeah, my world is very expansive, and there's a lot of different genres that I love. And I was even having that conversation with my daughter. I said, lyrics are important, but what my energy connects with is the melody. Because the
Yes.
melody, the
Yeah.
vibrations, of course, as we know, vibrations heal us, sound bowls
Hmm.
heal us, sound bath, as you know, heals us, our energy. So my body, number one response, not to the lyrics, but to the melody of the song.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to skip along to a couple of other questions and then we'll wrap it up because of our time. Is there a song that gets your positive juices flowing?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
What
Oh
is
my
it?
goodness. This is from one of my amazing facilitators, Tony Moss, and he has two beautiful songs that I love to my core. One of them is called Joy, and the other one is called Grateful.
Oh,
Those are songs when I listen
great
to,
titles.
yes, yes, I listen to it in my car all the time. It's like on repeat,
That's
especially
great.
if like it's moody outside, it's cloudy, because we're in LA, we're so used to the sunshine, and
Right.
I put those songs, and or Happy Day. Like, these are the songs that I listen to because we also need to be extremely I don't want to say careful, but
Mm,
open to recognizing that what we listen to, what is in the background from television to what we listen to,
yes.
lyrically, music, as there's research that shows what aggravates a cancer cell and what truly shrinks a cancer cell, like classical music
Hmm.
and words and messages from a song that are joyful and happy and filled with love. All of those shrink a cancer cell.
Well,
And
it's
then
also
while other
nutrition.
music, exactly.
And that's what
Yes.
I tell people that nutrition is more than just what you eat.
Mhm.
It's what you, well, because you're talking about consuming things, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you
Mm-hmm.
consume negativity on
Mm-hmm.
television or through
Mm-hmm.
music or from
Mm-hmm.
what you read, you
Yeah.
know, don't be
Yes.
surprised if you're a negative Nelly, you know?
Absolutely.
So like,
Absolutely. I
that's
mean, why do we
it,
pray around the table before we eat, right? We say gratitude to the food. You're
right?
actually putting love into that food and it becomes like soul food.
Correct. No,
It's not only
that's
prepared with
beautiful.
love, it's eaten with love.
Yes, with
Yeah.
intention.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so this happens to be, I, I hate to say my favorite question because I made them all up.
Mhm.
It's like, no, that's my favorite kid. You know, it's not, but this is. So sometimes there are songs that you hear that ring so true that they can stop you in your tracks. And the song's
Mhm.
lyrics sound like they were written specifically for you or by you.
Mhm.
What's that
Mhm.
song?
Oh goodness. Written for me or by me? I would honestly stick to the songs that I told you because it's where I am in my life, just joyful and
The joy.
grateful for life.
Yep.
Uh-huh. And every day truly. So it is the
Why did
combination
I
of the
know that?
songs.
Why did
Mm-hmm.
I know that?
It's the combination of the songs that,
Yeah.
a reminder that, can we imagine a bigger,
Hmm.
brighter, more beautiful, loving life future? And can we just, every day live life being joyful and grateful for everything? Like every morning I wake up and I see the light out and I say, thank you,
Hmm.
universe, thank you, God, that I woke up to a peaceful morning,
It's
which a
such
lot
a,
of people don't have right now.
no, you're 100% right. And it is a
Yeah.
fantastic practice to adhere to and to
Hmm.
really have in your day,
Yeah,
to do it.
it's very true.
I try to bookend it, doing it in the morning and in the evening and,
Mhm,
that sort of
mhm,
thing. So
absolutely.
one thing that I want to do before I close this out here is I know that some of the things that you've mentioned are in person. Do you
Mhm,
do these virtually? Do you do them
mhm,
via Zoom too?
mhm,
The same effectiveness and
absolutely.
everything else?
Absolutely. More so that journey started from COVID. And now with my clients who are in LA, that 2-minute drive can last you 45 minutes to get
Right.
there. Some of
Yes.
my clients, I mean, I have clients globally. Obviously, they can't be here. I
Mhm.
have clients in Hong Kong, I have clients in Vienna. So with them, obviously, we do Zoom. And with my LA clients who don't feel like they want to be in traffic or fighting with
For an
the
hour to
people on
drive
their,
3 miles. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I get it.
So
Okay,
nothing
good.
changes. Yeah. We do the talk part together. We do
Okay,
the hypnotherapy. We can do breath work. We can, yeah,
fantastic. And I
yeah.
just wanted to
We,
make sure that I was making the assumption that that was the case, but I wanted to make sure
hmm.
that everybody else
Yes.
knew that. So I'm
Yes,
glad I
because
asked that.
energy does, I mean, with my clients, even in different countries where we're thousands of miles away, I would do a hypnotherapy session and they would come out and tell me, "Oh, I felt this. How did you notice that? How did you bring my attention to my solar plexus? I was feeling so much energy there."
Mhm.
Because energy does not have limitations, right? Which is
Right.
why when we say, even with Reiki doing energy distance
Yes.
healing, yeah,
Yep.
we all have the power to do that. You just need to direct your intention to it, direct your attention to it. Where your attention goes, energy flows, right?
That's right. That's
And
right.
it's a fact. We can't fight it. We can believe it or not, but it's still
That's
true.
that is true.
Uh-huh.
That's very accurate. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for your answers and your openness and willingness to describe what it is that you do, who you are, and I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jim, for having me. I
Oh,
love this.
I'd love to have you on again. Believe me.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Excellent. Well, it's just about time to cue the music for today's episode, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Drop the Needle podcast to stay up to date on our latest episodes. I would also like to take a moment to thank everyone for tuning in today, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Drop the Needle podcast. I would also like to thank our special guest, Kristine Ovsepian, for being on the show today. And you can get in touch with Kristine by going to her website, which happens to be www.journeys, that's JourneystoHeal.com. So that's journeystoheal.com. Or do you have social media platforms as
Yes,
well that people can reach
absolutely.
out? So I will make
Instagram.
sure. Okay, perfect. I'll make sure to include those.
Yeah.
So I invite you all to head on over to our show notes where there's going to be a link to the playlist from today's episode. There's also going to be the link to contact Kristine to book a session, and I'll put her social media links on there as well. All right, my drop the needle posse, like Billy Joel says, from the highs to the lows to the end of our show. This is the end of our show. Until next time, this is Jim Allstott wishing you infinite health and happiness and the perfect playlist for your life. Thank you again for being the best part of us. Catch you next time.